I'm in a reading slump. At the end of January, I read a lot of great books. I read a lot of great books the entire month of January, but somehow it threw me into a reading slump, and I cannot read a book to save my life right now. I've picked up 4 or 5 books, nothing is sticking, nothing is working. I'm reading words on a page, and it's just not doing what it normally does. So I am going to fix it. Normally, what I do when I get into kind of a funk or a reading slump is I'll try to read a book that I've already read. I think that's a great way to get out of it. But that's not working right now. I've picked up a couple books that I was really excited to reread. Not working. Another thing I try to do is read a new release. Not working. I have arcs of books that I'm really excited about, and for some reason, I just don't. I'm not getting sucked up into them, which is really bad. And I guess the third thing I would do, which is what I'm not gonna do, but I would go to a bookstore and buy a book, which is bad. And I would do that because I would feel so bad that I bought the book and not read it. Um, that's why it would like jumpstart my me out of my reading slump. But I'm not going to do that today because I have 3 books waiting for me at the library. I just got an email this morning that they came in. When I go to the library, I will literally put a hold on so many different books because I read them so quickly that it's not really that big a deal. Um, so I have 3 books waiting for me. Hopefully, one of them sticks. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get myself a little treat and try to start one of the books in that space, and that's just to feel good in a little coffee shop. And I'll take you along with me, and hopefully we can get me out of this funk. Let's talk about the books I got from the library. There's 3 of them, and I only remember putting a hold on one of them, so that's exciting. I guess I'm in a weird state when I go to the library, and I just like click, 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 and they never come in too quickly that I can't keep up, which is nice. So it's like I'm never overwhelmed by it, but like some of these titles, like I don't remember putting a hold on. One of them I truly don't remember ever seeing. So what is that about? I don't know. We're gonna find out if one of them solves my issue. Okay, the first one is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Klewer, which is a thriller horror. It has this little sticker on the spine. Don't know what that means. Probably that it's popular. Um, I remember this is the one I remember putting a hold on because a lot of people have been talking about it on TikTok. It's supposed to be a really great thriller, horror, cuspy kind of book. And then when I sat down to read it, I was like, oh yeah, this is why. It's a queer horror. It centers a queer couple. And this is really cool because it started as an entry on a Reddit thread that like gained a lot of traction, got really popular, and got him a book deal, which is so slay. Um, so it's about a queer couple who flips houses, and they live in this house, and the old owners come to visit them, and then it turns into a really creepy horror home invasion type of vibe, which sounds scary, and I am interested. But then I sat down to read it, and I was like, oh, cool, like a queer couple, queer horror is a genre that I'm really interested in. And so I was like, what else has he written? Has he written stories, whatever? And then I could not find one single mention of this writer being queer himself, and that's not a problem to me. Like, straight cis people can write queer stories, sure, but there's something about it. I don't know. Also, it's like he might be queer and just not talking about it, but I don't see why that would be the case. In my opinion, if you're a queer writer writing queer stories, that's sort of important to put it out there. Like it feels like yeah, I when I write, like it's a queer lived experience, right? Like when I submit to short stories to literary journals, literary magazines, like it's in my bio because I'm writing queer stories. It feels important for me to have the context of like my queer lived experience. So I don't know what his deal is. It's fine if he's not a queer person writing about a queer couple getting harassed. Um, but it sort of turned me off when I started reading it. Sorry, okay, not a big deal. I might still pick it up. I'm not saying that I won't, but it did just make me put it down. Okay, my next book is Small Rain by Garth Greenwell, which is the latest Garth Greenwell. It has a sticker that says new arrival, so we know what that means. It is a new arrival. It is a book I'm excited to read, and I've almost bought in bookstores like a million times because I'm really interested in Garth Greenwell. And like, not to belabor the queer writer point, but he has a really great queer perspective and writes from it, and I think that's something I'm really interested in from him. He only has two other books, and I have both of them on my bookshelf. And so this came in and I was like, oh my God, I don't remember putting a hold on this, but I'm excited to read it. However, I don't know that it's what I'm going to read now to get me out of my current funk. This book is depressing. It is about a poet who is in the ICU and he has some sort of illness and he is navigating the broken American healthcare system, trying to figure out what's going on with his body, but also talking about his past, the current state of the world, like just some heavy stuff. And so I don't know that this is what's going to get me out of my funk. It doesn't feel like it is. So maybe I'll just have to hold on this until I read another book and am up for this kind of like sad thing. Okay, the last book is Blue Light Hours by Bruna Dantas Lobato, who is a Brazilian writer and translator. She's a National Book Award winning translator, and this is her debut novel. It is a book I don't remember putting a hold on, but the cover looks familiar, so I was like, I feel like I've seen this before, but I don't know where and who talked about it. So this is one of those books, like, I have no clue how it got onto my list, but it sounds really good. It's essentially about a young girl who goes from Brazil to Vermont to study in college, and it's about her relationship with her mother and the friction that distance causes. And it's called Blue Light Hours because it's like about how they Skype all the time. And let me tell you that I sat down and read 45 pages of it. And I love the writing. It's so beautiful. Has it made me really emotional because it's like about a mother-daughter, mother-child relationship, and there's physical distance, but there's emotional distance, and that's just like growing up is what it feels like, and it is like perfectly exemplified here. I love the idea that like this mother is seeing her child through her screen, and it's like that's the frame of it and that's it. There's moments where like they're not understanding each other, where they're like the internet is cutting out all these things, and it's so, yeah, it's so poignant and it feels really interesting to read because it's feelings that I've felt before. And so this is what I'm reading now. What do you want me to tell you? I'm 45 pages in. It's pretty short. I think it's under 200 pages, but it is really gripping me. And it's a little sad, but in a way that like works. So yeah, this is what I'm reading and I'm so excited about it. It looks so beautiful. Look at it. So that's how I got out of my reading slump. A little sweet treat at a coffee shop reading a book. And it worked. That's so interesting. But at least I didn't have to buy a book. I just went to the library. And that novelty really works. I don't know what to tell you. There's something about just picking up a book that you weren't thinking about 5 minutes earlier, or you haven't been thinking about for months, and just it unblocks something for me. So I'm happy to report that I'm out of my reading slump because I am really excited to read this book. In fact, that's what I'm gonna go do right now. That's it. That's how I got out of my reading slump, which is so weird to say. I don't get reading slumps that much anymore. I think this one was just, I really cracked from having too many good books in a row. And I just couldn't find something to like grip me. But I would love to know what you do when you're in a reading slump and how you get out of it. So let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.